All right, guys, a lot of you have seen this listed on both Amazon and on eBay. This is the Squire At Work Combi Bolt 5. It's a 5-number combination lock, really intended to secure doors like garage doors, shed doors, things like that. Not super high security. It's rated a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. And in looking through the package, I'm a little unsure about how the mounting system on this thing is supposed to work, but let's crack it open, find out. All right, guys, I've had a few minutes to play with this thing, and I gotta say, this thing is incredibly heavy and very well constructed. The weight on this thing kind of is deceiving. It's much heavier than you would think just by looking at it. The end of this comes off. This is the part that goes on the door jamb, and there are two little indexes here for little nibs on the bolt to line up with. So kind of unique, and I don't really understand what that's for, but they're there. Rotating this thing over, this blue appears to be paint, but it's actually some type of rubberized weatherproofing, I would imagine. So very nice finish, very consistent throughout. When I flip it over, again on the bottom, again showing quality, we have a copper, and these are little springs that fit down into the nibs of the wheels to give you that positive lock. It feels like ball bearings, and that's what I thought at first, until I flipped it over and I saw these guys. So they've at least thought that through. When I look at the bolt, though, these little nibs were squeezed on there or compressed on there when this thing was probably red hot. The little nibs are not real precisely formed. You can see a little puckering there. They're a little bit off-center, some of them. And what that tells me is that if this one's formed that way, all the rest of them are probably formed that way as well. There have to be more nibs inside of here on that bolt, and they have to be located before the wheels. Otherwise, I would get one, I could pull on it and then rotate this first wheel, and I would hit the nib, and then basically the bolt would slide one full ring length that direction. So they would never do that. That just doesn't make any sense at all. So there must be a nib between each of the wheels. And because they're so imprecisely formed and there's a little puckering, they had to make enough of a slop into these wheels in order to fit those variable sized nibs through there. All right, first thing you want to do, of course, is we tried to shim it. That didn't work. The next thing I want to do is try to put pressure on it and then try to rotate this until I felt give. That kind of worked, but I actually found a better way. Again, it's going to be putting heavy pressure on this knob. And then what I found works, because of the way they manufacture this, it had to be this way. I put heavy pressure and then I rotate this back and forth, and I get a little bit of give on that wheel. I'm actually trying to find the width of the gate. It's there, but it's pretty narrow. Let's go to the next one. That one doesn't hardly move at all. And just keep going back and forth. Again, hardly at all. Hardly at all. And then when we hit what I think is the real gate, notice how much that flops back and forth. I mean, this was truly a manufacturing oversight. Anybody could figure this out. Real wide gate. So let's just move to the next one. Again, putting the same type of pressure, a little bit of give, but not much. Gnarly anything at all. That's real stiff. I didn't have to release the bolt on that one. Very little gate, very little gate. Very little gate. Then I felt a nice thunk there. And again, you can see we fell into that really wide, very deep gate on that one. So we got two of these that are just really sloppy, and we're going to stay with those. Move to the next one. Again, heavy tension. Look how wide that is. Man. A little bit of gate there. That's a little bit of gate there too. That might be it. No, that's definitely it. Look how wide that is. Nice and wide. I will take it. The last one has got to be too easy. We don't even, I mean, now you can see how much that bolt is moving because we've hit all the gates except for one. And I'm just going to jiggle it. It's going to turn itself, it seems like. You can see the bolt is actually turning that thing. All right, so we know that's the bound one. So all we got to do is just rotate and pull the bolt. And at some point, we will get an open. And there it is. I got to say, Squire, this was very, very close. You did all the right things. There's nice heavy construction, heavy duty. The mechanism, all nickel, all protected against the weather. You protected all the gates to prevent shimming. It's just that when you cheaped out on making this bolt by using this technique to form these nipples, that really screwed up the tolerances on the wheels. You had to make them wider and deeper in order for this bolt to work. If you had machined this, the tolerances could have been much, much tighter. The other thing is I looked at the screws that came with this thing. There are 4 holes, 4 mounting holes in this to go onto your door. You're supposed to use these little, basically wood screws. Not very long, not very thick. They are, however, security screws, but really, really small gauge. I just wouldn't think that that would stand up to much abuse. If this were mine, and if I had a machined bolt, I would probably drill holes in the door, put basically carriage bolts that have heads with no slots in them, run it all the way through the door and put a locking nut on the back side so that even if this turned, that the entire bolt would turn. Anyway, so close, but not quite. I can see why this is a 5. It's probably perfectly fine for old baby buggies or garden carts, but I definitely wouldn't hide anything valuable like bicycles or motorcycles behind this lock. Anyway, guys, I appreciate your time. Stay safe. Stay legal.